In recent developments that have rapidly reshaped the legal landscape, a significant number of influential law firms have begun to align themselves with former President Donald Trump, resulting in an unprecedented escalation in the financial terms of their agreements. This investigative report delves into the intricate details of these developments, examining how prominent legal institutions have, one by one, capitulated to a strategy that may undermine long-standing legal ethics and professional independence. At the onset, several high-profile firms signaled their intent to engage with Trump's legal framework, with initial reports emerging from early deals. Paul Weiss, notable for its early capitulation to Trump's proposals, secured a deal at a remarkably low sum of $40 million. This initial arrangement was perceived as an opening salvo, a move that was both controversial and calculated. However, as more firms have chosen to join this evolving arrangement, the price for such engagements has rapidly escalated to figures as high as $125 million. The increasing cost suggests not only a rising economic pressure likely influenced by broader market inflationary trends, but also reflects a heightened willingness on the part of Trump to exploit these legal connections for his strategic advantage. The essence of the controversy lies in the transformation of what initially appeared to be pro bono or goodwill legal actions into a complex web of indebtedness toward Trump. Former President Trump, with decades of experience in both employing and managing legal services, has adeptly maneuvered within the legal arena to extract maximum benefit from these arrangements. His strategy is clear. By drawing in some of the most respected law firms, he expects to create a network that is readily available to pursue his legal interests, ranging from tariff negotiations to representing controversial industries such as coal. In essence, the deal is far from a mere exchange of pro bono services. It is a calculated move where the firms incur substantial obligations, with Trump positioning himself as a discerning consumer of legal expertise who is unafraid to drive the terms of any agreement to his advantage. Within this evolving scenario, the internal dynamics of the legal community offer a stark contrast between principled stance and pragmatic compromise. Behind the closed doors of major firms, there has been a palpable sense of dissent, particularly among junior associates and some of the more ethically driven partners. Some insiders lament that by capitulating to Trump's conditions, they have inadvertently compromised the integrity of their institutions. They observe that while a few partners rationalize their decisions by stressing the lucrative nature of these deals, there is deep concern about the long-term implications, both in terms of reputation and legal independence. With many firm leaders having signed what can only be described as a pact of subservience, the legal community now faces a complex moral dilemma. Do they continue to pursue lucrative contracts at the cost of their professional integrity, or do they risk alienating a powerful political figure by standing on principle? The fallout from these capitulations extends far beyond individual reputations. As Trump's circle of compliant law firms grows, the broader impact on democratic norms becomes increasingly evident. Legal critics argue that by essentially binding these firms to serve his agenda, Trump is not only consolidating his influence but also impairing the ability of other legal entities to mount effective resistance. With a significant portion of the legal establishment now entwined with his legal strategies, efforts to challenge his administration's policies become considerably more arduous. This chain reaction leaves behind a legacy where, rather than championing justice and independent counsel, the legal profession appears to have ceded a measure of its autonomy to a single, emboldened political force. Moreover, the implications of such capitulation resonate with the broader public. Every instance where a respected law firm appears to sell out creates a ripple effect, undermining public confidence in the impartiality of legal institutions. For individual citizens and advocacy groups, the perception of an entrenched legal establishment that readily bends to political pressure is deeply disconcerting. The message is unequivocal: when large institutions choose to prioritize short-term gains over ethical standards, it not only jeopardizes the integrity of the legal system but also weakens the collective ability to stand against injustices in government. Facing this dilemma, some voices within the legal realm urge those yet to capitulate to summon their moral courage. It is a clarion call to law firms still standing on the sidelines to reassess their positions with a renewed commitment to independent legal practice and ethical accountability. To those who have not yet been drawn into this web, the message is straightforward and urgent. There is a need to maintain dignity and to resist the allure of quick financial gains that ultimately compromise the integrity of the profession. Critics of the current trend remind their peers that the decisions made today will not only influence the present but will have lasting ramifications for future generations. They assert that in time, history will judge those who chose to work with Trump as having abandoned the higher principles of legal ethics and democratic accountability. The situation is further complicated by the strategic implications behind Trump's legal maneuvers. By securing commitments from these high-profile firms, Trump effectively removes any ambiguity about his stance on using the legal system as a tool for his political and economic leverage. His history of both engaging with and often shortchanging legal service providers underscores a calculated effort to extract every conceivable benefit from these partnerships. Such an approach not only consolidates his control over his legal affairs but also sets a troubling precedent where legal services are commoditized to the extent that ethical considerations become secondary. As a result, even well-intentioned legal professionals may find themselves trapped in a scenario where they must choose between profitable deals and the preservation of the integrity of their practice. In the final analysis, the ongoing narrative reveals a critical juncture for the legal community and, by extension, for democratic governance. The decision by these law firms to capitulate to Trump's demands is not merely an isolated business transaction. It is a defining moment that could influence the balance of power within the legal profession and in public policy debates for years to come. For those on the inside, the personal and professional costs of such decisions will become increasingly apparent. For the public, the erosion of trust in independent legal advocacy is a significant concern that challenges the very foundations of democratic accountability. As we continue to monitor the unfolding events, it becomes clear that the legal establishment is at a crossroads. The choice now lies between capitulation and resistance, a decision that will reverberate well into the future. In the words of some seasoned observers, the cost of complacency may well outweigh the financial incentives offered by Trump's proposals. There is a growing consensus that, in the long run, the integrity of the legal system and the health of democracy depend on a firm commitment to ethical principles and professional independence. This investigative report underscores the urgency of the matter. Every decision taken by these law firms today will shape the legal and political landscape of tomorrow. In a climate where Trump's influence appears to be growing by the day through these calculated legal arrangements, it is imperative for all stakeholders to remain vigilant. The collective weight of public opinion, the reputation of legal institutions, and ultimately the democratic fabric of our society depend on the choices made in this defining period. For viewers and concerned citizens, one small step to support a transparent and accountable legal system is to stay informed. Engage with initiatives like Democracy Docket, a news outlet dedicated to tracking every facet of voting and elections. As the struggle for the soul of the legal establishment continues, history will record not only the actions of political figures but also the moral courage of those who stood up for what was right when the stakes were highest. I am Brian Taylor Cohen with Mark Elias, and this has been Democracy Watch, a call to action for all who believe in the safeguarding of democratic principles and the enduring power of integrity in our legal institutions.